All right, so what is A, B, and C? A is -2. This is your A. B is -16. And C, thank you, Isaiah. All right, one of these numbers is your y-intercept. So does anybody remember which one of these three? We don't even have to do anything. It's C, yeah. So let's go ahead and write that down here. We'll write it as an ordered pair. Raise your hand if you think this is going to be a smile. Who thinks it's going to be a frown? It is going to be a frown. How do we know that, though? Negative. Which one is negative? Which one do we look at? A, B, or C? A. Yep, just A. So because A is negative, we know this is going to be a frown, which means it's going to have a max. Frowns have a max. Smiles have a min. All right, so now let's find our axis of symmetry. So formula would be x equals the opposite of B divided by 2A. So B is -16, so the opposite of -16 is +16. And that's divided by 2 times -2. Is somebody at the door? No? Okay. That's divided by 2 times -2. So we have 16 divided by -4. Go ahead and type that in your calculator. All right, do we agree that it's -4? Okay. So I'm going to put that here for x equals -4. And now we're going to find the vertex. So I'm going to take that -4 and substitute it where you see an x. So in your calculators, we're going to type in -2 parentheses squared minus 16 parentheses minus 30. And go ahead and put that -4 in. Type that in your calculator. And that's going to give us the y value of our vertex. All right, what you all get when you typed it in? Who got 2? Raise your hand if you got 2. All right, any questions about how we did that? All right, let's take out our note packet, go to page 5. We got 2 graphs we're gonna work through today. And then you'll have the rest of the time to work on homework 1. Homework 1 is due today. It's the last day to turn it in to get full credit. Homework 2 is due next week on Wednesday. So we're going to go to page 5 in our note packet. And I think you all are getting pretty good at graphing. We've been doing graphing all week. So I feel like you all are doing pretty good with it. We have a little short skills check on Tuesday where you'll have to graph one. Okay, so A, in this equation, A is 1, B is 2, C is -3. What'd you say, Danny? Okay. All right, so A is 1, B is 2, C is -3. Yesterday's recording is posted too if you want to watch it. It's up there. Okay, so we got to find our axis of symmetry first. So that would be x equals, and it's the opposite of b. So you see b is positive. So that means the opposite of a positive is a negative. And that's divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So we're going to divide -2 by 2. Go ahead and see what you get. And what you get, Rowan? -1. Who? Anybody else get -1? Okay. So we're going to put x equals -1 right here. And let's put that -1 in the middle of our table. So if you look at the number line in the back of the classroom, we're going to pick 2 numbers on the left, 2 numbers on the right. So I'm just going to put them in order. So I'm going to use -2, -3. And then if I go on the other side, that would be a 0 and a 1. So let's go ahead and type it in our calculator. So we get 1 times x squared plus 2 times x minus 3. And you know I like to rewrite this over and over again. Okay, so we're gonna type in our 1, type in our 0, type in our -1, that's gonna give us our vertex. Type in -2, and type in -3. So go ahead, pick up your calculators and get those 5 numbers. I don't know how I forgot that. Can everybody take out your bell worksheet and pass it to the front? Every Friday I collect the bell work of the week, so go ahead and pass that to the front of your row. So Monday, you're going to get a new bell worksheet for the week. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so what did we get? What do we get for our first one? 0. Anybody else get 0? Okay, so the first one is 0. And then what do we get for our next one? -3. And then for our vertex, what do we get? -4. And then we should get the same two numbers again. So who had that for their table? So our vertex is at -1, -4. All right, let's go ahead and plot these 5 points. So we got 1, 0, -3, -4, and then we come back up. That's what your graph will look like. And the solution is where it crosses through the x-axis. So where does it cross through? It crosses here and here. 1 and -3. Let me go ahead and put green dots. This is our solution. So that would be 1 and -3. All right, one more question and then we're done for today. You all are getting really, really good at graphing. So this next one should go pretty quick. So let's go to the top of page 6. Now this one, notice that we skipped over a term. And that's because, that's because we have an invisible 0 in between here. So this is the same as saying x squared plus 0x minus 4. So in this one, A is 1, B is 0, and C is -4. So sometimes we do skip over one. So let's find our axis of symmetry. So x equals the opposite of b. 0 is the only number that doesn't have an opposite. 0 is just 0. So we have 0 divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. Anything divided by 0 is 0. So we're going to put that in the middle of our table. And then I'm just going to count back 2, count up 2. If I count back 2, that would be -1, -2. If I count up, that would be +1 and +2. So let's go ahead and make we have 1x squared minus 4, 1x squared minus 4, 1x squared minus 4. I'm going to go ahead and just write this out. And then you all pick up your calculators. And find these 5 numbers. Go ahead and find those 5 numbers. Okay, so what did you get for your first Y value? Wait, who has good numbers? Who's still working? Okay, keep working on it. No? Okay. All right, so we got 0. Wait, the first one you got 0, right? And then what'd you get for the second one? -3. And so for our vertex, what'd you get? -4. And then did you get -3 and 0? Raise your hand if you agree with my table. All right, let's go ahead and plot it. Oh, I forgot to fill this out. Axis of symmetry is x equals 0. Our vertex we just figured out is at 0, -4. So now let's graph it. Okay, so our axis of symmetry from here, we got 0. So we got x equals 0 for our axis of symmetry, and then our vertex is in the middle, 0, -4. So now go ahead and graph it, and this parabola crosses through the x-axis twice. It crosses right here, and it crosses right here. Well, what did you get for those two numbers? 2 and -2. All right, any questions about today's lesson? All right, use this time to finish out homework 1. I think most of you turned it in. I'll check Skyward in a minute. Today's the last day to turn it in to get full credit. Start working on homework 2. We haven't talked about the tables yet. We'll talk about that Monday. So that part, just skip it for now. So I think you can only do the front side of homework 2. So if you finish the front side, then you're all caught up.